Hello. Hi. How we all doing? Also, I gotta check something real quick. Second, if y'all will just, give me a little second or I gotta check my microphone real quick. Why is that volume so low? Has it always been that low? That ought to make whoa. Whoa, that's a huge fucking boost. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cheese this. We're gonna that, and then that should be better, maybe. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of messing with my mic levels right now. Um, I guess I can't override. Damn, we'll just have to deal with this. Shit. All right. Hi guys, it's just me this week. It's not actually just I'm waiting for Spazzy and Nan10 to show up because Nan10 is hopping onto his computer right this moment, and Spazzy, I don't know, I don't know what Spazzy does. I'm pretty sure he just he lives in a shed and only kind of emerges once in a blue moon. Oh hey, there's Dan.
I'm here.
Wow. Well, there you
Sorry.
are, buddy.
I was stuck in traffic trying to get back, and then I had to run in, turn my computer on, do all that jazz. And my Discord app isn't actually working, so I'm having to use the Discord browser for some reason.
Go get a SSB ask. Does anyone use dark mode on YouTube? Let me ask you a question. Does anyone use light mode if it's available?
I use light mode on YouTube, but to be fair, I've never thought about putting it even into dark mode. It's like light mode on Discord or dark mode on Twitter.
I will always use dark mode for everything, mainly because as a person with
the edge.
No, actually, as a person with an eye condition, it's actually a lot easier to read. But also just it looks better and doesn't blind me.
Fair enough. No, I didn't even know YouTube had a dark mode. I don't bother. It's not the sort of thing I go around and check every website I go on to see.
Wow, is that Spazzy?
Yeah, man, I've been here for an hour. You didn't know? Totally. Been here.
Sure.
Wow.
But yes, I guess everyone's here now. How have you both been?
Adequate.
Been pretty great. All that hard hitting Comic-Con news, been keeping up on it. All of those.
I've been trying to see what's been said. I saw the DuckTales thing. I saw the Steven Universe thing. I saw the Rick and Morty season 4 clip.
Go get a SSB asks, have Dram and Spazzy watched all 23 MCU movies? I've said this before. No, not even close.
Yeah, Colin's not a big MCU guy.
I have not done my homework at all.
Well, the funny part is, okay, so I'm somebody that grew up, in the comic boom of the 90s, and I was really into comics and comic related things when it wasn't cool and trendy to be into comics. So I'm actually really enjoying the fact that everybody likes comics now because there's so much more of it. Even though I think maybe a little too much, but that's besides the point. But that being said, I still have not seen Thor: The Dark World. There's never been a reason for me to be like, I should see Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah, that's the exact same thing for me. Thor: The Dark World is the only one I haven't seen from all the MCU movies.
Yeah, I would say I've probably seen almost every movie multiple times, but I have not. I've like not even once. After watching Endgame, I almost saw Thor: The Dark World. I'm like, oh, they're showing stuff from Thor: The Dark World. Maybe I should watch it. And then I thought a little bit more about it, and I said, nah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. You've already seen it now in Endgame, so
yeah, right. So
that's it.
I remember before Endgame came out, or maybe it was before Infinity War, there was some company that was running a thing where they were gonna pay someone. They were like, we'll pay someone like $5,000 to sit down and like marathon all of the MCU movies. And the reason why they were doing this was actually it was more like a promotional thing. They wanted to like shill out their brand. The whole point was that you would like live tweet it from their Twitter account. And I was like, I would do that. I have like enough of not a life to do it, but like I don't know if they'd appreciate me tweeting about how much the Thor movies suck like over and over again. Like, oh, Thor the Dark World, pee break time, you know, like
I think that's just kind of generally how people feel about it.
yeah, they're not good.
So it's not,
they're not
yes,
good.
I was saying, it's not like a hot take.
The third one's good.
All the dark
Ragnarok's
mode.
good. But...
Yeah, Ragnarok's good. Ragnarok. Well, all the parts that are on the junk planet are pretty good, and all the parts not on the junk planet are okay.
Gogeta also asked, Dram, Nanten, and Spazzy, top 5 favorite heroes and villains. So my 5th favorite heroes and villains will have to be the one that's on the Smiley Smile album. I think it's cut short a little too much, but, you know, it's still a really good song. The 4th would have to be from the Smiling Pets tribute album. It's like a Japanese Beach Boys tribute album. 3rd favorite would probably have to be Brian Wilson Presents Smile. That's a pretty good, you know, all-encompassing cut of heroes and villains. It's just not a, it's just not, like, orchestrated super well. I wish they used, like, real harpsichord. 2nd favorite would have to just be the one that they put on Smile Sessions.
Can I cut you off because it's the joke is it's getting a little long, man.
No, I'm almost done. Hang on. And then
Okay.
my first favorite would be the one that's on the Sonic Love Noise fan mix from late 2018. Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Okay. All right. My favorite heroes and villains is that one episode from Only Fools and Horses.
Like, how do you even ask that? The heroes and villains in context of what? I mean, like
And
real life villains, or we can do like Mojo.
He means from the MCU.
Oh,
he seems he means from the MCU favorite heroes and villains.
Okay, got it.
Paul Rudd.
Favorite hero, James Gunn.
Yeah. Favorite villain, Kathleen Kennedy.
Actually, the best villain is oh god, what's his name? The guy that was pushing the Inhumans so much.
What's on the schedule for today, Colin?
Really, it could just be anything.
Anything. Our life.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I could theoretically talk about how I played 2 video games in full this week.
Wow, I've barely played any video games this week other than Dr. Mario World. So
well, it's
I
okay.
still need to download Ultimate Alliance, but I don't know if we're at Source Gating waiting for the American code or not. So
I think we have it. Do we?
No, we have the European
code.
code.
That means we gotta wait till Monday.
Yeah.
Wait till Monday. That's what they did with Dragon Quest Builders, where they didn't send it out Friday. They don't work weekends, so they gave it to me on Monday, and I'm like, I already own the game.
It's long.
No, but I don't know if you guys know this. I like horror games. And 2 horror games just came out on the Switch this month. One is Lust for Darkness, and the other is Remothered. Remothered is technically not out in the US yet. It comes out on the 26th, which some harsh competition for it. But it's been out in the Japanese eShop since the 13th, I want to say. And Lust for Darkness is bad. Is just bad. It's
okay.
Like So here's the thing about horror games. I know you're supposed to like typically play horror games with like the lights off and, you know, the monitor like only a few inches like away from you, and you put your headphones on and you're like, oh, it's real spooky. I play horror games with friends on a couch, passing the controller around, and we laugh at it. because the thing I found out about horror games is that good horror games are forever good. Bad horror games are just as good horror games, just in a completely different, like,
Wouldn't that make Lust for Darkness? Because it looks like it'd be a hilarious horror game to play with
well,
friends.
that's the thing. That's the pretext. I buy horror games because they could either be there's like three ways it can go. It can either be like really good, really bad, so it's really funny, and then it's like, oh, this is just a piece of shit. And Lust for Darkness falls into the, oh, this is just a piece of shit category. Because listen, you tell me there's a video game on the Nintendo Switch that is a first-person horror game that's got gore, it's got dick, and it's got tits. You got me interested. I'm really like, I'm ready to see what this is all about. And no, it's just bad. It's just bad. It runs terribly. It runs at like 5 frames per second. I don't know why it runs so bad. Actually, I kind of know why it runs so bad. It's because, like, despite the game looking bad, all of the models are, like, ridiculously high poly because they're probably pre-made assets or something.
You just really got to show off that sexiness.
Yeah,
It's all
right.
that really matters.
It's like 2 hours long, so that's fine. You can get it done in, like, an afternoon. And the worst part is, I think about the entire experience, outside of it just being a horrible piece of shit, is that it's soft-locked at the final boss fight of the game. So we can't beat it.
Oh,
we got all the way to the end and we can't beat it. So cool. So cool. And apparently that is a prominent bug on both the PC and the Switch version. So
you'd have thought they would have fixed that, like, before porting it over.
Well, oh well. So that expect a video on Lust of Darkness soon. But the other game I played is the other horror game is Remothered Tormented Fathers, and so when I bought these two games, I was under the impression that, like, Lust for Darkness would be like a tire fire, but, like, Remothered might be kind of halfway decent. And what I got instead was a game that is everything I ever wanted from a horror game. If you don't know the story behind Remothered, it actually started as a fan remake of Clock Tower.
Oh, okay,
like
that's
Tower.
interesting.
And I guess it went the way of the RE2 fan remake, where they just kind of they just said, who wants to get sued? Am I right, gamers? So they just decided to make a new project. And, like, so the new game, the final game, is like this cross between Clock Tower, but also like some newer horror games like Resident Evil 7.
Okay.
And and the coolest thing is that, like, it wears its inspirations on its sleeve. Like, it's very obviously inspired by like niche giallo horror films. So, like, you got a bit of, like, Dario Argento in there. The main character looks like Jodie Foster from Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
And, like, the presentation, the music, the way, like, the cutscenes are directed, like, the overall mood of the game is, like, absolute fantastic. Like, we were, like, just blown away. I mean, of course, after playing Lust of Darkness, we were joking that, like, oh yeah, our judgment's gonna be clouded because, like, anything will look good after that piece of shit. But, like, we were genuinely like all right, we're, like, immediately hooked. We want to play more of this.
Okay.
And then we played the game, and here's the thing: it is a good game. It is a good game. The Switch port is unbelievably terrible. It is one of the worst Switch ports I've ever played, which is such a shame.
Why is it so bad? Is it, like,
First off,
really
it just
buggy and frame rates and low res sort of bad?
It just looks bad. It's obvious they just turned on the they just set the whole thing to the lowest settings possible. I ended up buying the what is it? The PC version after playing a bit of the Switch version because I was like, I need to play this game, but not like this. And yeah, this is. I'll put a screenshot on screen real quick. This is what it looks like, and it's just muddy and kind of awful. I could probably show like a couple better environments to really show it off, but it doesn't look good. Like those trees look like splotches, and everything's got really bad aliasing on it. And I don't know. In this opening like area, like the frame rate was just kind of meh. Like it was like, all right, it's dropping sometimes, but I mean, this is like a big open area. Maybe the whole game takes place inside a mansion. Like maybe it'll be stable. No. No, the game runs like pure ass in once you actually get into the meat of the game, and I'll play the clip that I uploaded to Twitter. Let me just check if this is the right one. Yeah, this is it. This is not like this game runs so bad it looks like it's just like a bad video capture, maybe from the Switch itself. But oh no, this is actually how the game runs, and like holy shit. It just, of course.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I can see how choppy it is.
Yeah. And it only gets worse. Like.
Yeah, okay, I understand that.
Yeah. And it was just running like that the whole time, and we were just like, holy shit. And this is like an Unreal Engine 4 game. Like, this isn't like... I mean, I hate to be that guy that's like, this game looks like, X game. How does it not run as well? Because, that doesn't really apply to all video games. But after playing something like Hellblade, like this is surprising, because Hellblade is also an Unreal Engine 4 game, but also looks way better. And has way larger environments and has like more stuff going on, and it runs like a million times better than this game does. I really hope. It's funny because like if I was reviewing this game before it came out, like if I had gotten a review code or something, I probably would have been like, oh, maybe there's a day one patch, and like maybe they are working on a patch for the US release, but the game is out in Japan. That's how I have it. That is on the eShop. So I can only hope that maybe they do have optimization patches in the works, and because they also plan on doing a physical release of the game on October 31st, which again, with recent announcements, they're gonna have some stiff competition. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm sorely disappointed. Like, the game is great, but oh my god, the port is terrible.
That's not good. That's always a shame.
Guys, they did the thing. They did the thing that is stupid.
What?
What?
Thor 4. Let me just put this image into our stream channel. Yeah. They did the stupid thing where they replaced the letter with a number. Oh, God.
They've actually done.
Is this real?
They've actually done 4.
Is this an actual real image?
I don't know. I saw it on Twitter, so I assume it's completely real without doing any bit of research at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a hot source on that, because that looks fake as shit, my dude.
Yeah. Also, as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't feel comfortable putting this on until it's.
Let's see. Well, let's see. Let's do some little research, guys. Let me do research, like how they do in a Twilight movie. I'm gonna go to Google and type in Thor 4.
I just typed in Marvel Phase 4 and nothing came up. Also, they wouldn't announce it at Comic-Con. They'd announce it at D23.
They did announce Thor 4 at Comic-Con.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if they were announced
like
all of Phase 4, it would be at D23. It wouldn't be at San Diego Comic-Con.
Most likely. Well, they are in Hall H again this year, so.
And didn't they announce? I thought they announced Captain Marvel too, didn't they? As well, that's not on here.
No.
Did they not?
Yeah, they didn't.
I know they announced Spider-Man 3, Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2. I thought they did Captain Marvel 2 as well. Maybe that was already announced. I don't know.
This is This is a fake ass image, fellas.
Then why would people be posting it on Twitter if it was fake?
The
Can you
same
answer me that?
reason
Why do people lie? God call them. People don't lie on the internet.
The same reason people make
come
Beetlejuice
on.
2 posters, like to fucking fool people.
By the way, yeah, somebody
Paranoid.
said it was Ike Perlmutter. He is the ultimate villain in the Marvel Cinematic
Oh,
Universe.
okay, so I think apparently we're both wrong. Apparently they are announcing Phase 4 today, but that is not.
I told you
it.
they're in Hall H. Of course they're gonna do it. They're back. They're back in Comic-Con.
But
that's
they're
not
actually
the-
there.
But they have
Not
not
the
done
image.
it yet. So
Yeah.
Right. So listen. You're right.
Ultimately, I was the only one who was right.
So yeah, no, but Ike Perlmutter is the dude that he was in charge of the TV, and there was that schism between him and Kevin Feige that caused like the TV to never interact in any significant way with the movies.
With the films, yeah.
And plus, he's the guy that also had some power over the publishing branch of Marvel because he was the CEO of Marvel Entertainment. And he said, "No, let's minimize the X-Men and just really push the Inhumans as the new X-Men, and then I'll have a TV movie that everyone will like. It'll be on IMAX. It'll be great."
I feel like Marvel leaks have to be like the most boringest leaks ever. Guys, they're making movie 2.
I think Marvel leaks can be exciting if they're
It's a new one. If it's a new
casting,
hero.
with casting news too. Like sometimes you get some really interesting casting news.
I'm not bothered particularly about who plays who.
Well,
So,
it's funny because I feel like Eternals is all like, "Hey, every actor you've ever heard is rumored for every role." So whatever.
I kind of felt the same way about when everyone was like, are they really gonna be ending these series with Infinity War? And then it's like, dude, they just
No, of course not.
fucking
They're just making
announced
money.
Spider-Man 2. What are you talking about? They just announced Black Panther 2. What are you kidding?
Everyone died in Infinity War, Colin, and that was it. MCU is over. This is
I
when an
remember
AU.
there was some guy on YouTube my friend was talking about that was that made a video essay about how Far From Home might be a quote unquote fake movie. Like it'll take place before everything, and it's just there to throw us off. And it's like, what the fuck is that? No.
Do you know who actually did something like that? Was the Walking Dead comic?
Oh my god.
Like, are you aware of this?
No, I'm not.
It was so the Walking Dead comic is over. He actually Robert Kirkman finished it. But what he did is he didn't tell anybody it was the last issue, and they actually had like previews and fake covers and stuff for like months and months ahead.
That's cute.
That's great. I love that. That's great.
Yeah. He said, and his reasoning for it was, he's like, well, there's two reasons. Like, he's like, one, I hate when you know something's about to finish, so then you give everything else like, kind of extra. There's like extra attention put on it because you know it's the end. So there's always that anticipation and judging it as like the final season of something. He's like, and I didn't want that. I wanted people just to enjoy the story. And he's like, two, The Walking Dead, a big part of it has always been kind of the unexpected and the surprise. He's all like, so I just wanted to end it without anyone knowing.
Reminds me Dragon Ball did the same thing back in the day when it came out. Like the Majin Buu saga finished, there was nothing about it ending or anything like this. And then that's when people found out it was the end.
What's funny is that,
by the way, this is the end of Dragon Ball. Bye bye.
What's funny is comic book stores were actually kind of pissed at him because they normally, if it's a big important issue, they'll order extra copies, but nobody did. So it's actually kind of not as easy of a comic to find because it was just like issue 173 of The Walking Dead or whatever, 193. That's what it was.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's really funny.
I should swing by the local comic shop I haven't been to in like 2 years and be like, hey,
I go to the local comic book shop every day. That'd be crazy. Because I work there. I go there every year on my birthday. Because my birthday happens to fall on Free Comic Book Day, so it's like, hey, gotta wake up, get some food, go to the
birthday comic.
Yeah.
I would absolutely shill my local comic book store if that wasn't doxing me, but like, but I'd like it. I'm friends with the guy who runs it, but like, holy shit, the guy can't take no for an answer. Because like I'll be like around the time I stopped going there, he's like, dude, I got your hold. It's got like 20 comics in it. I'm like, dude, I told you, like, please just empty it out. Like, I'm not gonna. I'm a starving college student. I'm not gonna come in and spend like $60 on comic books. I don't have time for it. And he's like, yeah, but I'll keep it on just in case. I'm like, no, dude. Like, I just had to like stop going forever until he got the point across.
I also want to apologize to Dingy Bell Jr., who keeps like saying everything that we're talking about and we never acknowledge. So how's the book, Dingy Bell Jr.? I read a synopsis. I haven't read it. Is it a good read? Do you recommend it?
What is this, good book source gaming?
Source Book Club.
Source Book Club, yeah. On the
I
next
started
Judy
watching
Blume novel.
Been reading light novels all the time at the moment because they're easy and quick to get through.
Did I ever tell you
I
guys
can
that I
find-
listened to like audiobooks while playing Breath of the Wild?
Maybe you've told me you've listened to audiobooks before.
That's how I played Breath of the Wild. It just like played I just played like the Disaster Artist audiobook in the background while playing it.
The Disaster Artist audiobook is
fantastic.
amazing.
It's a work of
art.
art.
It's so much better than the movie or even than the actual written book because Greg Sestero's doing the voices and it's so good.
His
on voices for
Greg Sestero's Tommy Wiseau is like on point. It's like one of the best impressions of that man you can ever hear.
Yeah, if you heard that and thought that he was actually a decent actor, I wouldn't fault you for that because it seems like he should be.
Apparently, Greg Sestero is. It's just that, like, everyone knows him from The Room, which is like so stunted and like awful. Stinted
and from that
awful.
one Puppet Master sequel.
Oh
yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do the top 5 Marvel MCU villains because it's really easy. I'm gonna do it.
Fine, do it.
Okay. Obviously, there's only 5 that are any good, so it'll be really quick. It'll be Loki, Thanos, Killmonger, Vulture, Mysterio. Done. You can move the order around if you want. Yeah.
I'm glad you said Mysterio because I watched Far From Home this week and I really enjoyed Mysterio in it.
You know what's my least favorite Marvel villain?
Yeah.
Elder Abuse.
Elder Abuse. I don't even know who that is.
He's talking about how Stan Lee was abused. Yeah.
They stole his blood. They put it in pens. I still
can't.
It's like the most ludicrously evil fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
Wait, this is a recent thing. What Stanley's?
No,
well, Stanley's dead. So
yes, well, yes.
I know, but like, I mean,
so
I see the reports from like May of this year, though.
In the last couple of years of his life, like pretty much everyone around him, like family and friends, were like, "All right, we gotta make as much money as possible," and like. It got as far as to, I still don't know if this is like 100% confirmed, but apparently like they had him do a thing where they drew blood from him so they could put it in like pens and sell it.
Fuck.
Which is
Stanley
so
fucked. Blood was used to sign Marvel comics. What the fuck?
But,
I'm gonna look that
by
up
the way,
right
I think the greatest thing to come out of Comic-Con was all of the stuff from the DuckTales reboot. Do you realize that they're bringing back the Wuzzles?
Which ones are the Wuzzles? Are those the ones? Because I seen the picture. I saw that it's got Tailspin, it's got Chip and Dale, it's got... Yeah, that's the one. And then it's got like Donald Duck with his like 2 friends from that one comic. that one like episode.
Well, yeah. Well, they were from Saludos Amigos, and but yeah, the movie, and also the ride in Epcot, where they decided to to do that. But okay, so the Wuzzles was this weird ass shit from the 80s. Like it predates all the Disney Afternoon stuff. Here,
okay. Which one? Which what do they look like?
They're like combination of animals. Like just Google Wuzzles and go to images. Here, I'll
Okay.
get you. Here, I'm gonna get you an image of the Wuzzles. Wait, let's do this. This is
Get me an image of them.
Source Gaming Wuzzle Talk. Right?
I need to watch. I want to watch the DuckTales because the thing. I watched the first 2 episodes. Okay, right.
Okay. Now look at
know
this
what you
tweet. Yeah, now look at this tweet.
Oh,
Yeah, open the actual tweet and look at the.
Here, let me.
oh wow.
Yeah, right.
The this and this. Oh. God, I wish there was a more convenient way to take
Is it actually
screen
meant?
caps.
Is
and
it
press
actually
them
meant to be the Wuzzles?
exploit.
Yeah, because they're bringing back all of the Disney like afternoon like crap.
They do it. So they see that Goofy's there. Are they doing Max as well? Is it like a proper Goof Troop inclusion?
Yeah. I'd imagine so, but maybe they're just like leading with Goofy and then bringing the rest of the Goof Troop.
I do like how they have, how they have Goof Troop Goofy. That's pretty good.
Especially because all the Goofy we've been getting recently is like pantsless Goofy from those weird Mickey Mouse shorts,
Oh, I love
which
those
I
shorts,
also
though.
appreciate. Yeah, I'd say which I also appreciate those shorts, but they're like a different thing. Sure.
The producer of those is doing the Cuphead series.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. By the way, Dingy Bell Jr., we appreciate the comments. We're not like bothered by them at all.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm sorry I don't always see them. But the other thing, once again going back because to our Disney Afternoon podcast, is that Tailspin. Did you see like that's not Baloo? That's what's his name?
I was wondering about that. I'd never watched Tailspin. It was Disney Afternoon in general is before my time, but I'd had seen episodes of DuckTales and Darkwing Duck at least.
Well,
so
because I guess honestly, it looks like Tailspin was set in the like 1930s, but I guess they're going for not quite that far back. But it does appear to be set in the past because it's definitely like Kit and Molly from Tailspin, but they're like adults now. So I assume Blue is probably dead of some sort of heart condition at this point because he did not live a healthy lifestyle.
It just appears a grandpa, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe he's still on the plane. I don't know. But no, I thought that was fun. While we're still talking about Comic-Con, let's do a quick shout out to that Cats trailer, which was everything.
Oh God! Oh no! It's got James Corden. It's got really good cast of characters, but like, my God,
you can't say it has a good cast of characters after saying the words James and Corden. It's not how that works.
Because I was gonna just say James Corden, but then I remembered actually it's got Ian McKellen in it.
It's got Idris Elba in it. It's got Taylor Swift climbing on things.
Also, no, it's got Jason Derulo in it. What the fuck are you talking about?
It's got a really interesting cast.
It has a very interesting cast.
Jason Derulo is Rum Tum Tugger. Stop! Don't do this.
Like, it's got loads. Jennifer Hudson's in it. Judi Dench.
Rebel Wilson as a cat who's a fat comic relief cat. Come on.
Who here is a Cat's Head? Who here is familiar with the musical Cats?
I'm familiar with Cats because, as everyone else, I know the song "Memories," and I followed that last season of Kimmy Schmidt, which I think is a pretty accurate representation of Cats.
I know the musical Cats. I wouldn't say I particularly like it.
It's not really regarded as a good.
You know what
musical.
it is? I've seen some people be like, Cats, the one that people think is the worst, and I think I gotta remind people that I don't think people think Cats is the worst. I think people just hate Cats because it ran for so goddamn long, and everyone was sick of it.
Cats can't be so bad when it's like ran for fucking ever. Like I never saw Cats, but I always thought it was available to watch.
It was never a critical darling, though. It was it was always kind of like, hey, Cats, that's weird.
I think it's like one of the most play it safe musicals because it's just like there's barely a plot. It's just kind of like a thing you watch, and you're like, well, the music's good, and I like Cats, so
I don't know. I think it might just be a beautiful disaster. It's so like unsettling, weird. Like
I just
like why not go with practical effects? Or if you're gonna go with CGI, at least it's like okay. So if you're gonna go with practical effects, if you want to make people that are dressed as cats, essentially. Or if you're gonna do CGI, do something a little weirder with it,
See,
like even weirder than that.
That's
Just make
like
them
thing.
actual cats, actual
Exactly.
realistic
Like
cats.
we just saw the Lion King.
That's the thing. That's the thing I'm kind of waiting for. I am probably gonna go see this movie because I'm a musical theater nut. But like,
Oh, I think this movie is actually gonna do really well.
no, it's not. It's releasing the same day as Star Wars. It's not.
I get it, but no, I understand that, but it's a December release. December releases. You know what else released the same day as Star Wars? Jumanji, which made over $1 billion.
Oh, then Cats is fucked. It's not gonna do well.
No, I meant last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jumanji 2
and then it went up, or
Back in
Blast
Black,
2.
whatever it's called, is not coming out same day as Star Wars.
Again, I don't know. Let's find out.
That'd be cute if it does.
Well, no, because episode Return of the Jedi came out the same time as Jumanji, literally the same day as Jumanji, the Jumanji reboot, and Jumanji reboot still went on to make like $1 billion because if a movie releases in December, it definitely has the potential to have legs, and this is also kind of counter programming to Star Wars. Cats.
Someone in chat pointed out that it's being directed by the guy who made the 2012 Les Mis. That's fine. That I just expect that at this point.
But wasn't the 2012
Apparently,
one where they took this very this musical that was very grand in scope and everything was just close-ups of people's faces singing?
Yeah, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, apparently that director is an asshole. As a person, he's really difficult to work with.
Yeah, but so is Kubrick, and look what he made, so it's fine.
Okay, so Jumanji the Next Level is the 13th. Thanks, Dingy Bell Jr., who's our official fact checker. Apparently, it's source gaming.
He's making sure that our sources are correct.
No, but like that is the thing. Like at this point, with every Hollywood movie, like it sucks because it's like, yeah, I should expect them to use CG for everything, but I would be like, I'm surprised because you would think using like physical sets and costumes would be cheaper and look better than everything having this like weird, uncanny like sheen to it. That's the thing that I think makes it so bad. I don't think the general designs are bad. I just think it's like, I think it really sucks when you see like a CG body with like photorealistic or not even photorealistic, but just real ass eyes and mouth like superimposed onto these like CG creatures. That's the thing. Because Ian McKellen looks fine. Because his just looks like makeup. Which I'm wondering if his is just makeup onto like a CG body or something.
Love the idea that everyone else is like fine with CG and so walking around in like little suits, and Ian McKellen's like, no, practical only. So he's the only one on set dressed as a cat.
He's
well,
a
everyone else is just
actor.
normal.
He has to have. He's like, no, do it up. I want to spend 6 hours in makeup.
I want to feel like I'm a cat.
Yeah.
So I just want to say something real quick. So Dingy Bell Jr. is asking about like our thoughts on the Spider-Man comics. I think if it's not something that we're currently talking about, guys, I think just as a general rule, we should wait till the end of the show so we can just kind of take questions. If it's related to what we're talking about, then fine. But like if we keep always like sidetracking to be all like, oh, the Spider-Man comic. So
we'll do questions at the end.
Yeah, I think that
is there anything else from Comic-Con that's
Sonic and OKKO?
Oh yeah, that was a thing, and that's OKKO is getting all the bloody I shouldn't swear so much, but it's got so many like different crossovers. It's crossed over with. It's got Sonic now. It had the Scooby-Doo Ghost one. It's crossed over with basically almost every single Cartoon Network show.
Yeah.
10 episode. There was I am Weasel appeared on it. Like literally almost every single Cartoon Network. They had a Captain Planet episode. Teen Titans Go episode.
Oh everything. Yeah, they did. They also did there's a Witcher. We are a video game site. Although Witcher is based off a novel, people know it better for the video game. we should talk about the Witcher trailer.
I haven't actually seen the Witcher trailer yet. I've only seen all the screenshots.
I'll give you a synopsis. It looks fine.
Okay. It looks like live action Witcher.
It looks
Yeah,
about as
pretty much.
quality as any other Netflix original. So
yeah.
which probably means it looks good, but it's
which isn't
kind of devoid of anything real meat. Any real meat?
Visually, I have to say, Stranger Things 3 looked great because it's the one they're putting money into. I do like some Netflix originals a lot. I love Glow so much. Glow is so great.
Did you see?
But nobody watches it.
Hey, Spazzy, did you see the latest epic rap battles of history?
No.
One of the co-stars from Glow plays Joan Rivers.
Oh, I gotta look it up.
Nah, now you gotta watch it. I think Epic Rap Battles of History is one of those like YouTube guilty pleasures where you're like, this isn't like an amazing concept, but like, goddamn, the presentation is like good. Like,
yeah,
it's very clear they like do their research when they make these, and it's like because there's always like little references to stuff, and you're like, oh shit, like how did
Yeah, it's kind of like popcorn media, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's also a Top Gun trailer, which I don't feel like talking about.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's Top Gun. Also, I really did like Stranger Things 3. I don't know. I like it. My only issue with Stranger Things is that they should be leaning less into the 80s nostalgia, but that they just do it like more. Like just so much. And I'm like, just calm down, guys. We get it. We've grown attached to these characters. The effects are good. I don't need to like hear you do like a quote from Jaws and then a quote from Die Hard and then
I remember someone was
the future.
Someone was giving me like some shit because like I was like, why the fuck are there so many like just like crazy like remember this references? And people are like, you're mad that they're doing world building in a show that takes place in the 80s, and I'm like, we already know it takes place in the 80s. They don't need to keep bringing it up.
Once again, like, Glow is a lot better about that. Glow just feels like it's set in the 80s because it's set in the 80s, but not that they're not like constantly like hitting you over the head with like, now everyone in the school is dressed in Ghostbusters
yeah,
costumes.
Exactly. Like they don't need to.
It's a new school uniform. Yeah,
I get it. You don't need to zoom in on a fucking can of new Coke. Like I get it. I understand. Like, great.
Like, and the thing is, like, I feel like it made sense in the first season because, hey, you're a new Netflix show and you need something to hook people, and nostalgia works. But like at this point, I'm like, I don't know.
It got so egregious with the second season. Like it's just so like. That's when I stopped. I was like, you gotta fucking knock it off. Like, holy hell.
But yeah, Schnitzel there. I also liked 3. 3 was probably actually my favorite season, but we can talk about that a little bit later. I guess
there, like,
if we have time.
In the first episode of Stranger Things, it's been a while. Don't they have like a like the kid has like a Dark Crystal poster in his wall, and it's like, what child has a Dark Crystal poster on their wall?
Well, it's one of those things because it's skewed by nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's like if you ever like I always said this. I'm like whenever I listen to like radio stations that are like 90s alternative, they're always playing like Liz Phair and PJ Harvey and other things. I'm like, yeah, some of these things got radio play, but not the way that you think they got radio play.
Yeah.
It's like it just gets more radio play now because people like appreciate those particular songs. But like at the time, it was still just like 90% Pearl Jam and Nirvana. Yeah. It's like, and some crap. It wasn't like a lot of the deeper cuts now, like people think got like played on the radio all the time, and they did it. They got some radio play maybe later at night, and like some of the people that knew more were into it. You know, it's just, it's like once again, who like the year that Ghostbusters came out, who would have had Halloween costumes that looked like full on like 2010 cosplay of Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
But like I said, I really enjoyed this season because I come to Stranger Things for the character interactions, because whoever does the casting for that show is amazing because every character is great, especially with kid actors, which are so hit and miss. They did a great job. And the actual production design and cinematography are amazing. Like it looks so good.
I'm just gonna say the same old shitty hipstery thing I always say, which is like, How I mean, outside of the obvious, like, because it's marketed all of, fucking everywhere, but like how in the shit did like Stranger Things do so well, but most people were like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch Twin Peaks. Like, I don't get that. I still
It's
don't.
it's more accessible. I'm a huge
Twin
Twin
Peaks is on
Peaks fan.
everything. Ah.
No, but that's not what I mean by accessible. I don't mean accessible like you can't find it. I mean accessible like I can sit down and engage with it. Twin Peaks is a little more odd, and it's harder to get into the characters because it has more idiosyncrasies because it's made by Lynch.
Yeah, it's the best.
Like I love Twin Peaks, and a better comparison is like Dark on Netflix, which is something else that's good and not as watched as Stranger Things because it's a little darker. Whereas Twin Peaks is weirder. Like 'cause it's weirder because it's not just dude. The gum you like is coming back in style.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It doesn't make sense. Like, Stranger Things is way like the first season, especially. It's just like remixed Stephen King with a little bit of that hope you get from old Spielberg. That's kind of like the vibe you get. So which once again are super accessible to the public. People love Stephen King novels. People love Spielberg. Like it's mass market type of stuff. Like I love Twin Peaks once again, but it's one of those things that's just it's a little too weird, I think, for your everyday person. You know what I mean? And I still haven't seen the new season, and I know I'm a terrible human being because
You really are.
I loved because I've watched the first two multiple times, like since back in the day, and I've watched Fire Walk with Me once and said, well, that was something that I did. But I really need to go back and watch that.
Everyone should watch season 3. It's so good.
Wait, there's a live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show? God damn it, why are they doing this? Now I have to look this up.
So, video games. Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I guess video
I
games.
guess video games.
So I don't think there's anything else from Comic-Con that's...
Yeah, not really.
I mean, I feel like
Definitely not.
it's more like we could just keep fucking talking about stuff from Comic-Con over and over because there's just so much, but at some point we gotta cut it off and...
They crowdfunded like a almost $600 Transformers toy.
Oh, God. Jesus.
You know what's the funny thing about all those Comic-Con exclusive toys? Is that a lot of the time, they still have, like, way too many left over. And what they used to do was they would just slap them in, like, a Toys R Us, like, across the country.
Now they can't
Now
do
they
that.
can't, yeah. It's like... Because I remember...
What do we do with all these toys?
That, what is that called? The fucking Power Morphicon? The little medallion thing the Power Rangers use to... It's Morphin Time, you know, that thing?
Yeah.
I believe those are called morphers.
Are they Morphin? I don't know, I never watched Power Rangers. I didn't watch any cartoon as a child that wasn't Rocko's Modern Life, but...
Well, that's not a cartoon, actually. It's a live action.
I know, whatever, any show.
Yeah. Okay,
It's like that fucking Jax Films video where it's like someone confuses Captain Planet for Captain America, and they're like, "Whatever, isn't America basically the planet?" But no. Those morphers, those were like a Comic-Con exclusive for a couple years. And they were like super rare and stuff. But then I went to a local Toys R Us and they just like had it for like $40. And that's the same one that Matt has. I sent it to him because I was like, I don't need this.
Okay. Well, let's I guess move on to games. But speaking of Ninja Turtles, Batman vs Ninja Turtles is very good, and you guys should watch it if you want. If you like either of those properties.
Sure.
So, anyways.
So, yeah, I guess onto game stuff. The first thing I suppose is we can talk Switch because they finally confirmed they updated Switch model and that we just talked about last episode, and it's basically what we said it would be a silentish update that doesn't really change much.
I think Matt called it because didn't he just say they'll just release it and we might not?
No,
even know?
I was saying that they would release it and it would be silent, and I think you were saying that some kind of announcement around it.
I said I figured that they would announce it alongside like new colors.
Okay.
But they wouldn't draw attention to it being a new model. But no, they did the opposite, where they kind of drew attention to it being a new model, or maybe they didn't, and people just picked up on it.
Yeah, like 'cause I didn't think they had. Well, I guess maybe they did. Cause
I never got a tweet.
I just happened to spot like someone on Twitter had said, "Oh, a new Switch model has appeared and is going to have longer battery life according to Nintendo's website." I'm not sure they ever officially made an announcement about it.
I never got.
But
like
Doug Bowser did answer questions when he was asked about it.
I never.
Yeah.
I never got like a tweet from Nintendo being like a new Switch model's coming out next month. I think they just like. I guess people just noticed like the box, or I don't know. I'm sure. What
it's on the website.
Happened,
no, there was an actual because Nintendo gave us the new battery life, so that had to have been from an official.
I think what might have happened is a bunch of stores got the new SKUs, and they noticed that like maybe like the box was different, and it said like better battery life in the description or something. And
I don't know if it was the box, because I seen a picture that has the battery life.
Right, and that seemed to
Switch and
that was
Switch,
from,
and I'm pretty sure it was from Nintendo.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's just from their website. But I have seen Nintendo UK tweet about it. Just they tweeted about it after the fact that everyone already knew about it.
Okay.
Because they said that it would be coming out in the new model, but it wouldn't be available in all stores straight away. Presumably because they're not just going to dump the old Switch somewhere and replace it with the new one. They're going to wait till people's stock have run out.
Yeah. Well, apparently
it's the official Nintendo of Japan website.
Yeah, apparently, apparently it's just going to come out like August 16th or something was the date.
August 16th in Japan, yeah. September 3rd in UK, I think.
So that, guys, I put it in our stream channel, is the source of all of this madness.
Let me look.
Okay, so yeah, NCL's website.
Yeah, so yeah, Nintendo officially said, "Hey, the Switch revision has this much battery life." So yeah, so they did officially say it, but it's not really like a new version of the Switch. It's just, I mean, I guess it is, but it's just a revision. I guess because they're using the same chipset from the Switch Lite.
I think the thing that's kind of made me like really annoyed about the whole situation is that oh my god, it's like I feel like every time there's like a Nintendo announcement that's like exactly what we expect, but not what like the general populace expect, they always think there's something more.
Yeah.
And in what way?
Like, so I think it's very obvious this is the new Switch model. This has been the one that the Wall Street Journal has been talking about for like a year and a half. Like, because it hits all the check marks. It's got better battery life. It's got a new chipset. It might be faster. So you're saying there's no eventual Pro? I disagree. I think there's going to be a Pro next year, probably. I don't think so.
Yeah, okay, I don't think there'll be a Pro next year. Maybe they'll release one eventually, but I do think this is the chipset. I've been saying for a while, but like they're going to do a Switch Lite, sure, one that's only handheld only, but they'll update the Switch, but silently, like, because they're going to it's cheaper to use a new chipset, and it also covers up that like there's an actual hardware bug on the old chipset that people are exploiting and stuff like that.
They need to do is fix the Joy-Cons, which I think we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah. But no, because like I've been talking to some people, and like it's the misinformation about there being a Switch Pro is ridiculous, because it's like, no, there was never a Switch Pro. There was just going to be an enhanced model, and this is it. And then people will reply like, you don't think Nintendo's gonna do what they did with the new 3DS to the Switch? And I'm like, this is it. Like, this counts. It's still a Switch revision.
Well, I mean, it is a revision, but let's wait till somebody does the teardown to see if there is a clock speed upgrade or anything like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know
we'll
if
have
there's
to
a
wait for
clock
that
speed
to
upgrade, but it definitely is going to have the advantages of being it's gonna give off less heat. It's cheaper to produce. It's got a smaller chipset.
Right.
It uses less battery life. Like, it might be faster. I don't think it's gonna be by much, but they could push it a little higher, like 10% higher.
I think this is a Nintendo handheld. I mean, ostensibly, and we can look at the same upgrade tree that we've seen in other Nintendo handhelds. So I think we will eventually see a Pro model.
I don't think we'll see a new Nintendo 3DS thing because that didn't work for them at all.
The DSi Lite didn't work for them either, and then they.
But the DSi Lite was a different situation because the DSi Lite was
There's no
the whole
DSi
gimmick
Lite.
was
It's
to
the
add a
DSi. You're triggering my perfectionism. Stop this.
But like the whole point with the DSi was that
it was like the most
and then that camera then gave them
to the system. Like, it came out like a year before they announced the 3DS. Like,
but the DSi did have it did have upgrades and it did have games that it could only run.
But they were only downloadable games because it had a shop that the DS didn't have, and it was they only really had this so they could take advantage of the camera. The problem with the new 3DS is that it was only stronger. Basically, it was just stronger, so it could run things better. That was the only difference between it and the. Well, that's obviously not true because it also had a little nub and.
Here's what I think.
But it's just that.
My thought has always been
stronger, mainly.
My thoughts on the matter, my reasoning for there not being a Pro is just simply the fact that I think Nintendo is still under the impression that the Switch doing well is a surprise, and they just don't want to do anything that will mess with that.
To rock the boat. I understand. Yeah. And I would also say that their plan really is to build a big enough install base that it's not going to matter, which
and I think
is kind of flawed thinking in the long run.
And I think the problem with a Switch Pro, I mean, like, people already have, like, people complain enough about the base Switch model as it is, with the battery life not being that great, with the screen being a little lower resolution than like most phones now, though that's for an obvious reason. You're not putting a 1440p screen on a gaming tablet, but like it gives off a ton of heat. And ultimately the problem IMO is that the way that power works on the Switch, like literal performance, is that it's funny, when the Switch Lite was announced, I saw a lot of people kind of be like some naysayers going like, oh, now developers are gonna program for handheld mode first and docked afterwards, which is a weird thing to complain about because that's what they already do. Because people forget that handheld mode is like significantly less powerful than docked mode. It's like half the power. I think the problem with a Pro model is that raising that bar so that there is such a tremendous gap between handheld mode and whatever this Pro's like docked mode would be large enough that some developers would rather make games exclusively for the Pro, and then at that point you murder your entire install base.
Right, but I feel like Nintendo has some control over what is being produced for their system.
Like the major
first-party games obviously are always going to be about that scalability.
I think the major difference between the 3DS and the Switch that a lot of people forget is that a new 3DS is $150, a Switch is $300. That's like, at some point, like, oh yeah, it's been 5 years, I can upgrade to a new 3DS, whatever, it's not that much, but like, I think a lot more people are going to be wanting to stick to their Switch models because of how expensive it is.
Right, but you're saying that as if people weren't upgrading to PS4 Pros and Xbox One X's. People are willing to pay a premium for a new version of a console just because it's shiny. And it's the way it is.
No, I understand. But even those don't do spectacularly well. And I think even those work on a different, those work on sort of a different basis because it's not like the PS4 is powerful enough that making a 1440p version is no way making the original model obsolete. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm not saying that it's going to be something that's like a head and shoulders above power-wise.
Yeah.
I just think we're going to get a revision that's going to have some changes in clock speed, maybe RAM, a couple other things that maybe can push out more FPS, things like that. I honestly do believe, maybe not next year, but we're going to get one.
But that's the thing. It's like, oh yeah, they might do a revision that's like, I mean, the safest pro model they could do is just making one that's slightly faster. And hey, this new model already has newer, faster RAM and runs at low enough power efficiency that they could boost the frame, like the clock speeds about 10-20%. And so there you go. There it is. Like,
but we have to wait for, once again, we have to wait for
we're
the
going to have to
teardown.
wait and see, but it's there.
I think even that might be a bit much. I mean, I guess it's a more efficient chipset, so it's going to...
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see.
So
but...
I think that the intention for this upgrade wasn't to make the Switch necessarily better. I think that's just an after effect of the it's an after effect of the chip. The chip is the new chip that they're using, which is cheaper to use and is less chip.
Yeah, I think
improves everything naturally, and the battery life is the one thing it improves that's obvious. So that's why that's the only thing that's really being highlighted about it.
Yeah, because I think like I've always said I think it's just gonna be like an X-Bone S kind of situation. Like it could be faster. They won't say it is. There's no reason because it'll be just slight enough that most people probably won't notice it until Digital Foundry makes a note of it or something. But like it could.
Yeah.
Like more stability is something that they could easily include. And the fact that Nintendo has already been messing with things like changing the clock speeds of handheld mode and like the CPU overall for like loading times and stuff. I think it is a possibility that this new model could be ever so slightly faster. But I really do think at the same time I think Nintendo is not going to want to make the original model obsolete.
No, they won't want to. No, I agree.
Okay, let's move on to something else because I don't know how much longer we can talk about extra battery life in a Switch.
Also, I forgot to mention the logistical nightmare of what would a Pro even include that wouldn't also just nerf it into the ground as much as the original Switch model. Like, you can't just put a larger screen and like a new chipset because that would just take up as much battery life, or maybe even worse. I don't know. The technology's not there.
So, Joy-Con drifting.
Yeah.
Which is apparently having a class action lawsuit filed against Nintendo for it.
Good.
I think it's I think they're taking complaints now. I don't think it's started yet.
Specifically the complaint alleges that joystick on the Joy-Con controllers will automatically register movement when the joystick is not being controlled by the user. Complaint filed on behalf of purchase Switch. Yeah, so something that can have a class action lawsuit. Like I'm so Joy-Con drifting is something somewhat of a newish term for me. I knew the Joy-Con had issues, but I didn't realize it was these analog issues that people seem to have an issue with. Because the only thing I've ever had with the analogs on the Joy-Con is my original set that I got when I first got the Switch. Joy-Con was just not registering me pressing it down. That click broke. So I could click on the left one, and on the right one, it would only register if I really forced it. But I can just press it, and there's no click sound or anything like that. And that's obviously a problem for games that need the R3, essentially. But I never had it, like, drift as how it's been described. My new Joy-Cons don't have any sort of issues with them at all.
Because it's a wear and tear issue. It's a wear and tear issue. If you don't use them a lot, or if you get new ones, it's not going to happen. Like my left blue Joy-Con from launch, like if I tap up on it, it just keeps going up. It doesn't stop. It just doesn't. It's really annoying. Like a great way for me to see it is if I'm picking a stage in Smash Brothers, because you just tap up and then it just keeps going. It won't stop. It won't stop.
What is it? So is this a thing that's...
It's the graphite boards. It's literally the graphite boards that are the sticks attached to get grinded down. So like
Okay.
it's going to happen eventually to all Joy-Cons, unless
Okay.
they fix how they do it. Yeah.
Because I guess my question was going to be like, what makes this one so different from wear and tear of other controllers that will eventually wear down and start malfunctioning in different ways? Why has it been such a big deal for the Joy-Con specifically, and not like?
Because I can still use my
current
GameCube controllers, and they work fairly well after all these years. And this is, people are noticing this after about a year of like heavy play. I would say so. Do you want to replace your Joy-Cons every year?
No, of course, yeah. Right,
Yeah.
fair enough. So I wonder what Nintendo's solution this could even be.
I think the solution would just be they go into R&D, and then they just make a new board and they silently release it.
I agree.
With
Voyager,
all future Joy-Cons, and then once these old models start breaking, people just gotta do the thing. This is like the weird thing. I go on our Nintendo Switch a lot, so if you go on our Nintendo Switch, I'm usually there, and oh my god, half the threads there are fucking dumb. But like, I feel like at some point, you just gotta call up Nintendo and be like, hey, problem with Joy-Con, and then you send it in, and then they swap the board and they send it back, and usually it doesn't cost any money.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do with my original Joy-Cons. I've just been a bit lazy about it, but like, why? Yeah, what's to stop people from just apart from the hassle, I suppose?
Yeah.
Of sending off
well,
your.
but it's like the red, it's like the red ring of death on the original Xbox 360. Yeah, it didn't happen to everybody, but it happened enough. And yeah, you could send it an Xbox would fix it, but at some point, I feel like the company should take some responsibility and ownership of it.
No, absolutely. I'm just saying, and I'm not like disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, like, people also should, send in their products to be repaired if they're having problems with them. Because it seems like I always see like 20 threads of like, oh, my Joy-Con started. Like, I have seen so many people in our Discord that are like, oh, I can't play Smash, my Joy-Con started drifting. And it's like, send it in. And they're just like, eh. And it's like, no, just, do it. It'll be back in like 2 days. Like, the repair is like quick.
What's weird is in my right Joy-Con, this is completely unrelated, but like, I took my left and right out of the Switch to just try something out. I was setting up a new TV, and that one just wasn't connecting either. I feel like the Joy-Cons are really finicky.
The right Joy-Con definitely seems to be the more finicky of the two, is what I've found.
And then the left one, I feel like you see people with the drift problems more on the left one, but I think that's just because you
use that one more.
Yeah, like practically every game. And the right one, yeah, you use it in other games for aiming and stuff, but it's not every game.
I'll admit it. I have 4 sets of Joy-Cons, but
that helps.
I've never had the issue with any of them. But I also know that I also every few weeks I swap them out.
Yep.
So that's most likely why.
I didn't have it for the longest time, and it's because I have 2 sets of Joy-Cons that I switch out. But now it's gotten bad in the last couple weeks where I'm playing, and I was playing Orange Blossom, and then my character just kept walking, I wasn't hitting him buttons, just kept walking through screens.
I think most people would agree that it seems like the Joy-Cons were, I don't know, it's the Joy-Cons like the Switch and the Joy-Cons are weird, because on one hand you're like, oh man, these were totally rushed, but they're also engineering genius. I think what's his name?
They're a much more natural successor to the Wii Remote than anything else we've seen.
Ben Heck was opening them up, and he's like, these are built they're every component is layered on top of each other, which you usually don't see in most electronics if they try to smoosh it all together. I've also read after a year you can't repair or something like that. You absolutely can. You can always call Nintendo and ask them to repair your Joy-Cons, and they will. If it's in warranty, it'll be free and take 2 days. If it's out of warranty, it'll cost $10 and it'll take 2 days. It's not a it's not a major thing.
Yeah. It's the warranty that usually only lasts a year.
Yeah,
that's the main thing.
it's really like you're fine. It's like any other electronic. They're not like immediately irreparable. Or you could always just like go to a local electronics shop and just ask them to swap out the Joy-Cons, the joysticks themselves, because I mean they sell them on Amazon. Just get some Phillips head screwdrivers and some patience. But no, like I mean, I do think I do think Nintendo should like really sit down and I guess work on making a new board for these things and really kind of, you know, make them not so fucking ridiculously I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but you know.
Pizza. The word you're looking for is pizza.
But what if you live in another country? You send it to the Nintendo of whatever country you're in or region. Like Nintendo of Europe. This is not a Nintendo of America only thing. Or as I said, just go to a local electronics shop. They'll probably do it in an hour if you just bring the component.
I mean, your country. I don't know if your country doesn't have a Nintendo office, but then I'm not sure. But Nintendo must have a solution to that, right?
Yeah,
they can't.
Go to
They
Geek
can't
Squad
just
or
not have a
something, like
customer service in a country.
the Joy-Cons aren't like totally inoperable. Like if they have a drifting problem, if they just need one thing swapped, like oftentimes they're like I don't know, it's just electronic. Like it's not, you know, like I know Nintendo has the whole like proprietary thing, but it's not like ripping open a MacBook where it's like, oh, why did Apple glue this thing shut? It's like, no, it's just like Phillips head. It's Phillips heads and ribbon cables, like every other thing in the universe. So yeah, just go to your local, support your local businesses. Take your Joy-Cons to them. That's the dealio. Just go.
Okay.
If there is like a phone repair shop near you, there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. That's where you go.
So moving on from the Joy-Con drift then, and just the Switch in general, let's talk about Google Stadia.
Oh no.
It's been step by step, discussion by discussion, sounding worse and worse as it goes along.
I do like paying full price for things that I don't
just now figuring out that they're not going to be giving away a free game every month, because that's something they announced.
They are giving away a free game every month, but only a single one, and that's it. I think so. The whole point of this new one is I think there are some people out there who still thought it was going to be like a
Netflix of games
style service, a PS Now, a Xbox Game Pass style situation, when it's not. It's just like having Xbox Live Gold or PlayStation Plus, and you just get one free game from it.
I mean, listen, I really appreciate that people are hating on this like terrible, awful, no good service that I don't like in any way, shape, or form, because I fucking hate Google Stadia. I'm just really surprised people aren't taking in all the facts before completely hating this thing. Which, I mean, you know, no one's at liberty to do so, but you know, it's nice, you know. You feel like kind of a madman when you're like, yeah, no, there's yeah, it sucks. It's no good. They already said why it's no good. Why are you surprised now?
It's just sounding worse and worse and worse with every sort of statement they say.
Tumbling down.
I'm curious how well it's going to do when it actually finally comes out. And it to do well, and that's why I'm curious how much it's actually going to sell, how many subscribers it's going to get.
You still have to pay for the game. Well, okay, so like their logic is that like either way, Stadia is going to be cheaper than buying a video game console or a gaming PC. So like the reason why first off, the service is so there's two versions of it. I will go into slight Google defense mode for all of 0.5 seconds so I can explain this. There is two versions of Stadia. There is a free version, and there is a subscription-based version. The free version is you get access to everything, and it's free, and it goes up to 1080p. The paid version is only for 4K, and you also get like a free game a month, maybe. But overall, across both versions of the service, you have to pay for the games. And the idea is that you're saving money on buying the hardware, but you still, gotta buy video games for the thing.
Yeah,
It's
Stadia
still
is essentially just replacing the console. That's all it is.
It's still terrible, but the logic is sound. That's the... Which, you know what? Whatever, fine. If they have to make you pay for 4K, like, whatever. You should also just, not pay for it. Or even use it, because it's a terrible idea. And streaming video games is... Ooh, yikes! But that's, over time, it's going to be more expensive than just getting a console. But they can also keep adding hardware to the back end. As I said, this is like the 2 points I'll defend it on. Is that's actually how it works. And
here's the thing about Stadia, because of the way, because of the entire functionality and model. If it doesn't work too well, they can always retool it.
Yeah,
it's all digital crap, anyways.
There is much more bigger problems than like how they expect you to pay for it. That's like literally the most like okay. I think the pricing model is totally fine. There's bigger problems, like the fact that you don't own your fucking video games. Or that, like, the controller connects to Wi-Fi and the only phones compatible with it are the newest Pixel phones, not even ones from, like, a year ago. It's the brand new ones. So if you own a Pixel 1 or 2, lol. If you own a Samsung Galaxy... Get
I understand. I mean, when you're looking at it from a bigger picture, when people buy a song or an episode of a TV show on iTunes, they don't own those either. So they're saying it's just we're just taking that business model and expanding it to a different sort of media. Gamers are a little weird in how I feel like we hold on to physical media. And I understand from preservation standpoint and this and that, but
games are different though. That's the problem. But because there's when you buy
are they though?
Yes, they totally are. When you buy a song off of iTunes, it's a song. There is always going to be a way to have an offline version of that song. iTunes straight up gives you the MP3 file when you download it. So even in the future, when Apple crumbles away, you'll still have your entire local iTunes library sitting somewhere. Also,
I've literally never bought a song on iTunes, so I didn't know that.
And same thing with movies. Like movies, as long as someone has a capture card or knows how to rip a Blu-ray or a DVD, like those movies are gonna stick around forever. The problem with if they're the perfect example, you can torrent Netflix movies.
Right, but then
because pirating and Netflix...
there's dead MMOs that people have servers set up for. There's always going to be ways for people to grab this code and have it.
But not if you're streaming a video game.
I think they will...
I don't know. That's what I'm getting at. You can always, if there is something that is streaming only for a book, for a TV show, for a movie, for a piece of music, there is always going to be a way to capture it because it is a not interactive media. It's just like you just play it, and there's like a million ways to do it. By the way, Source Gaming does not approve of any of these methods. I'm just saying that the methods exist. But for a video game, if fucking Doom 9 comes out and it's streaming only, guess what? Once that streaming service goes away, it's gone. Someone can maybe record a video of it, but that code, unless they release it to the public so people can actually play it on their local hardware, it's just fucking gone.
I suppose so.
That's the problem. That's the real difference.
It's weird. So it depends on how Stadia to do this. I don't know if exactly because it's not out yet. But Nintendo's Satellaview system on the Super Nintendo was a streaming service.
Yeah.
You could only stream stuff. People did manage to get the
ROMs
for preservation.
Well, that's because streaming in the 90s was different. You weren't streaming it. You were physically downloading a ROM file. Yeah. The only part that was streaming was the music, which is why we don't have that anymore.
Because fair enough.
Normally, my arguments with digital involves just downloadable games. which I feel differently about. Yeah, because I feel like if it's just streaming, then that's. I think having these games available on streaming, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's good. I think it's a way for more people to access and play games eventually when these streaming services get better, when our internet in general gets better.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with digital games, though.
Digital
because I
games,
feel like,
I mean, digital games are a whole other beast because on one hand, you do have the worry of like digital storefronts are going to go down at some point. But as I said before, like
people have
as much as people will downvote this opinion on Reddit, piracy exists. Like
you can if you want to go play Scott Pilgrim, you can.
Yeah, if you want to play Scott Pilgrim, there's a million ways of doing so. If you want to play Mother 3 with an English translation, but streaming is different. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that.
Unless someone somehow figures out to make a way to capture the entirety of a video game and somehow do a weird YouTube annotation version of a streaming video game where you have to click the video at certain times to do certain actions, which, oh my god, that'd be fucking weird. But yeah.
So Google Stadia is a bad
thing. No, it's just no good. It's just bad. Also, I gotta go to the bathroom, so you guys carry the conversation about something else.
So we're currently going on right now as we do this is the final Splatfest for Splatoon. And,
I have not. I never finished the story mode in Splatoon 2. I barely played. Probably gonna go play it this weekend though, because it's the final Splatfest.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking I might do. I might play it a bit tomorrow just because it's the final Splatfest. But like, I did beat the story mode, and I do plan on picking up Octo Expansion at some point. But I didn't play enough of the online as like with the first one, and it's a mixture of time and no one to really play it with and stuff like that.
I kind of enjoyed playing it a little bit more with the gamepad too. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, well, it was designed around the gamepad and being able to jump like that. I think they've done a good
they've done a great job. Yeah,
solution to the issue, but it's not the same. So.
Yeah. And also,
it's the Splatfest not happening tomorrow. Maybe I'll play it a little bit tonight then, if that's the case. I thought it was happening.
I'll get a few games in, just to be able to say I did it.
Yeah, because I thought it was on all weekend, but whatever.
Do you think it's going to lead into a Splatoon 3?
That's the thing. They said earlier this week that there's no plans right now, or nothing's in development for Splatoon 3, which makes sense because I feel like Splatoon is one of those games like Mario Kart, like Smash Brothers, where they only need to do one a generation.
Console, yeah,
and then leave it at that. That doesn't mean that we're not getting like sort of Splatoon games. Potentially, they might give us a chance to get some Splatoon spin-off games.
And I mean, they have supported that game. When did it launch? They've supported that game for a long time now.
Was it in 2017 when it launched? I think it was. So. They supported it for 2 years, which is quite impressive. The first one they only supported for a year, and ARMS they only supported for half a year. So they've done quite well with Splatoon. It's clearly popular, so they're definitely going to make a Splatoon 3 at some point. But I don't think it's going to be any time.
I should check that out sometime. Like at the end of the day, which Splatoon 1 stages actually just stayed with Splatoon 1?
I don't know in the end. So some did, but they definitely added and did stuff, and yeah, there's definitely some stuff going on, but I don't know exactly what. Also, it is happening. Is still continuing tomorrow, at least for me. It goes on until 1 p.m. Sunday for me.
The game won't end. King of Trash had 470 hours in the game, and I'm not ready for it to end. People are still going to play it. That's the thing. That's the magic about a multiplayer game, is that every game you play is going to be different, because of the people involved. So you can play it indefinitely, really. I know without the update, it's not going to be the same, but it'll still be. You can. Here's a fun fact, and I checked this a little while ago. If you go and play, the Splatoon, the first game, it still exists. You can still go play that one.
Yeah, it really is just that. So you can still play it. It's just not going to get any more Splatfest. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
You can still get it. They might even still do some balance updates and stuff. But what they're looking at is transferring staff to making a new game, basically. Let's move everything. Let's move this young stuff and have them make a new IP or a new game for something, whether it be a Splatoon spin-off or something else.
Yeah, I would really like to see the younger staff at Nintendo do more things. Splatoon's cool, but I want the next Splatoon. You know, I don't need Splatoon 3. I want the next experience that's going to be Splatoon, you know. And maybe it'll be another ARMS and not another Splatoon, but you got to keep doing ARMS until you get another Splatoon, you know?
Yeah. You gotta, so I'm curious to see what they've got coming on. So
yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, the game will still be there. The multiplayer doesn't get any less fun just because there's no Splatfests. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that we needed to talk about?
I think that was everything we had on our to-do list.
Docket.
Yeah, that was all the main stuff on there.
ARMS was the next Splatoon. I don't know. It just there's something about ARMS that wasn't as captivating, and I liked ARMS. It was just
ARMS was a good game, and I mean ARMS is technically the next Splatoon. It's just that it's just that. Sorry, someone's coming distracting me. Yeah, ARMS was the next Splatoon, but it's just that it wasn't as popular. It didn't take off as well. It didn't do stuff nearly as captivating as Splatoon did.
I haven't seen the Leaked Avengers gameplay. Is it? I'm watching it now.
Watching what? Or the Leaked Avengers gameplay?
Yeah.
It's just the same Avengers gameplay from E3.
E3. I don't know why.
So that's my understanding.
As like an MCU fan and just a Marvel fan in general, I'm just not that excited at all for that game.
It didn't look particularly captivating.
I mean, it looks okay. Personally. It's just I don't know. I'm watching Thor hit people with a hammer, and I guess that's cool. It's just I don't know.
People though. That's the big complaint I've seen. It's almost the same one that Batman Arkham Knight had, where Batman's driving around in his Batmobile shooting at people.
Yeah, I feel like if Thor were actually hitting these like SWAT-looking dudes with his hammer, they would probably be dead. Yeah. That is true.
Thor's just chucking random people around and beating the crap out of them.
Well, so I mean, in Spider-Man, you kind of beat the crap out of people, but I feel like you always know Spider-Man's whole, you know.
Spider-Man's not killing people. Spider-Man's when you throw anyone away, he webs them, and then leaves them to hang. Like Thor's like.
I think it's funny that you can throw your hammer away as Thor and just like beat people and then call your hammer back. Reminds me, because Thor should do that. It also reminds me of God of War now because that's exactly how God of War works because it was based off the concept of Mjolnir and being able to summon your axe in the same way. But because I've already played an entire game that is God of War, watching this Thor gameplay reminds me of that. Oh, you can throw your hammer away and then beat people up and then call it back.
Hey guys, I'm back.
We were just talking about that Leaked Avengers gameplay.
Oh, I should have just left longer.
Yeah, somebody asked about it. I'm all like, it sure is a game, man, I guess.
I noticed at one point you guys were talking about Splatoon.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Splatoon?
I really love Splatoon, but every time I play it, I remember why I stopped playing it.
Which is?
That game's two big reasons. One, that game's netcode is fucking abysmal.
Yeah, it was worse than the Wii U one for some reason.
Yeah, well, cause alright, here it is, folks. I'm gonna crack open Nintendo's online for all to see. It's because Nintendo expects everyone to be playing this game portably, using cell phone data for whatever reason. So they try to optimize these games to use as little data as possible. I've seen a lot of people blame the USB port on the back isn't USB 3 yet, so the LAN speeds are slow or the Wi-Fi chip is terrible. But no, because every other game that isn't a Nintendo game on the Switch, the online is perfectly fine. It's just that they try to use as little data as possible in these Nintendo games. So like, and like Splatoon is weird because like, you know, stuff like Mario Maker 2's online or like Smash, like those are just laggy. Splatoon 2 is like this weird game where like the worse your internet is, like the better you are at the video game.
Yeah, because the CPU takes over for you, like in small incremental ways.
Because the way the netcode in that game works is that it only updates like every 1/16th of a second. So if your gun is doing like more damage, like the game will just automatically favor your like whatever, like however you're shooting, even if you totally miss on your end. If your internet is shit, if you hit someone, like it'll register for you but not for the person with better internet who's like already moved away, because the game is trying to compensate for everything. There's so much trading in Splatoon 2. It's a I've
definitely heard that, and you're right. That's definitely, I think, why I put more hours into the first Splatoon.
And it's funny because I was talking to someone about this, and it's like the competitive like LAN meta of Splatoon 2 is like completely different from when you're just playing online with a bunch of people, because when you're playing offline with LAN, you don't have that issue. The game doesn't work the same way as it does when you're playing online. So like on online, if you're using the ink brush, you're an asshole because it's the most busted weapon in the game. If you're playing in LAN, you look like a dumb child and you get wrecked on. So it's, I don't know, I love Splatoon, but like Jesus Christ, it's just so it's so like not fun to play online. That and the fact that, like, I don't know, for some reason it's still the only Nintendo game not to have just normal-ass voice chat for talking to your teammates. So everyone is just like a big dumb idiot and doesn't do the thing you want them to, and there's no actual way of communicating, like, what to do.
Yeah.
So I was watching I'm watching that Comic-Con footage of the Avengers. I will say this. I do like the Iron Man footage a lot. Iron Man looks like a lot of fun to play as. I don't think we've ever got a video game where Iron Man plays like Iron Man, and this one looks like it's going to be pretty close to that. So that's cool.
It's just Iron Man flying around, isn't it? Like, it's just flying sections,
like
really.
he can like hover and shoot lasers, and like, because it's okay, like, I guess if all of the characters really play differently, it could be good.
Could.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm a little optimistic about it. I'll put that in the stream channel just for you to watch later in Tanjax. I don't think we're gonna really talk about it anymore here.
I'm not that bothered about the Avengers game. Like I like the movies, but the only Marvel games I've really liked outside of Marvel vs. Capcom is like the Spider-Man games.
And Ultimate Alliance, hopefully. Splatoon 2 has voice chat in LAN mode. Yeah, that doesn't help me. It's also weird.
Yeah, you want it online.
It's also weird because the voice chat in LAN mode is through the console, not the app.
I know.
Why? What the?
It's because it's clearly that part of it is designed to be used with like actual tournaments and stuff where they play it via LAN so that you can speak with your teammates there.
Just include the option anyway.
I know. I don't know why it's not an option for just everyone to use.
I mean, listen. At this point, I get it. I think I finally cracked on to why they want you to use the voice chat app, and that's to solve the issue of being 6 feet away from your console when you're talking to people. And I think they expect you, like, I know everyone always, like, thinks, like, oh, Nintendo wants you to buy a headset with, like, 2 headphone jacks. No, I think what they want you to do is, like, take an earbud and plop it into one ear and then plug that into your phone and then listen to the game through your speakers. Because, I mean, that's what everyone did on Xbox Live for 12 years. The problem is, you know, wireless headphones exist, thus kind of making that pointless and archaic and bad, and I don't like it.
It should just be an option
for people. Really should. I've heard some people say, like, oh, maybe the Switch can't handle it, which is bullshit, because there's, like, 10 games that use native voice chat.
It's just Nintendo trying to limit it.
I'm
for
always
reasons they
shocked
think
when I
right.
see it, because I'm like, oh man, a video game functions the way it should. Oh man.
So, does anyone have any questions for us in the chat? I guess this is the
question
time to
time.
do questions for the last
20
15 minutes.
Yeah.
15,
Somebody
20
asked
minutes,
us
yeah.
about.
Y'all.
Somebody said about why do people know the hero is gonna release this month? Because that video Nintendo released.
Oh, I haven't actually seen that video, but
Nintendo released a video showing off things that were going to release in July, and they showed a bit of the hero in there, and then they changed the video to say summer and not July.
Not July, right? But
so that's it.
The first place, or
hey, reminder that it'll probably get as much attention as they'll probably do the same thing they did with Joker for this one. They'll just drop a video.
But that video was great. That video was essentially a direct.
Yeah.
Like
they won't announce it ahead of time. They'll drop it like the day before.
Yeah.
There's all the Joker stuff you want. Oh, here's all the hero stuff.
We'll see in what this week or next week.
I'm honestly more interested in what's coming with Hero, like as far as if there's any other modes and Mii costumes and stuff. I always think that stuff's really interesting.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I think we'll get it the week after Fire Emblem. I'm with Persian that I think it will literally come like right at the end, 31st of July.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
It lines up.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions, guys?
What other questions have people got?
Hopefully the servers.
Were there any questions earlier?
I don't have anything else to download when the new Smash character comes out. Are you guys going to play Three Houses? No, unfortunately, I will be playing Wolfenstein Youngblood.
I will be playing Three Houses. I will be playing that straight away on Friday, but you never know with postage and all stuff like that. I'm looking forward to it. I've heard really good things about it. Story's better than Fate's. I'll be really engaged. It seems like it's got a ton of content.
Yeah, it seems huge. I will eventually buy it, but I'm not someone who's going to buy it at launch.
And I will because I love Fire Emblem. I mean, otherwise I've got a big backlog that I should be getting through, so I'm trying to avoid games, but I'll make an exception for that one.
Right. Whereas I have a huge backlog and am not a huge Fire Emblem fan. I'm just kind of like it, so I'll wait for it. I'll wait to get it on sale. And being a first-party Nintendo title, that means I'll get it for $40 in 2 years.
Best Buy Gamers Club is a good. Actually, GameFly is really good if you really want like games cheaper very soon, like after launch. Because it's all like very pristine used copies.
Don't have GameStop over here, so I just have to go with what I can.
What team are you on for the final Splatfest? Chaos.
Order.
Gotta support my goblin. Gotta show the goblin some love.
Stay on Team Marie. Best team in the first one, best team in this one. So. Now, another question we got was thoughts on the first Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 DLC. As a no, because there's no instant reply. It's Blade, Moon Knight, Punisher, and Morbius.
Oh yeah, it looks good, and I also actually really appreciate that that Cyclops and Colossus are coming as free DLC.
Yeah, and there's that as well, which is coming at the end of August.
That's
interesting. Is it coming before the Marvel Knights DLC then?
I believe so. And I think they were just probably characters that they wanted for the base game and just didn't complete. Or maybe it's just to keep people engaged with the game. Like I said, I haven't played it yet. I've heard it was funny. I think I heard Game Explain people were complaining that they said the story was too long. I understand you can think a story is too long, but if it's a game that's going to continuously provide new characters via DLC, then I'm glad it has a long campaign mode.
A lot of stuff to do that you can
Go through
So
with the new characters.
'cause I haven't played Ultimate Alliance 3 yet, but I wasn't a fan of the demo that I played a few weeks back. But also, like, I was playing 4-player pure chaos, and we weren't really paying attention to a lot of stuff on that. So potentially it might be better than I initially gave it credit for.
Well, the thing is, I feel like you have to really like the Ultimate Alliance games, and I feel like the Ultimate Alliance games and what was the X-Men one? X-Men Legends, I think it was called. I feel like they actually work best with only 2 players, so that both of you can cycle through different characters. Like this is how I've always felt. But yeah, just like as a big fan of those games, I'm looking forward to it. I think it might be a little bit better online actually, because then you'll be able to see your own character a little bit better, probably. And,
I think that was it. When there's 4 people and people are like going as far as they want to go at, it like really pushes itself out. And then you're just like, I can't see where I am at all.
I'm a little surprised that they didn't put Jessica Jones in with the Marvel Knights. I guess they want.
She's already in the game as like an NPC,
right?
So...
But so are Cyclops and Colossus. And now,
are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
Are they?
I need to double check, but yeah. But just being an NPC shouldn't mean that you can't be playable. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if you were to use her in the story mode and then like Jessica Jones runs into Jessica Jones, I feel like that's really weird.
I would love if they did Nintendo DLC. That'd be so great.
I'm a bit disappointed that this was their opportunity to put Link and Samus in finally.
Yeah.
After their attempts in Ultimate Alliance 2, although I guess it's a different developer.
Yeah, are you aware of that, Colin?
What? Oh, the Link and Samus and the old ones that they were planning? Yeah. Wasn't the thing that like set off Nintendo was that the build they were using was for like the PS2 version? So they were like, "What the fuck is this? No."
Yeah, that was it. They goofed really bad.
To be fair, that was their lead platform. But,
apparently, that code is still in like the PSP version. Like you can still kind of finagle it back into the final game.
That's funny.
It is. It is very funny.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there'll be more than just these 4 for DLC for Marvel Knights.
The way it seems to me is that it's going to be this and the Fantastic Four, which we can speculate on who those 4 Fantastic Four characters will be.
Well, yeah, I wonder.
The fire one, the stretchy one.
Well, what
and
about
of course,
Doctor Doom?
Lyra the She-Hulk. Yeah.
I mean, that's why I kind of want there to be more than 4, because I want to see Doctor Doom and Silver Surfer potentially for Fantastic Four as well.
I mean, they could. I guess. That's a possibility. And then, the X-Men are some combination of, I don't know, probably Jean Grey, Beast, Gambit, Rogue, Iceman, Angel. Probably some combination of those 6. Maybe we'll see. Yeah.
So apparently, Ultimate Alliance has been data mined. Apparently,
yeah. There's a ridiculous amount of DLC slots.
Yeah. Does it say who? Does it say who's there is for it?
No. There's just like 49 slots for DLC, which I don't think they're going to.
Oh yeah, 49 blank DLC character slots, and each character has about 6 alts. So,
which the alts part is cool. That makes me happy. I think Punisher's a no-brainer. I think Blade is a really neat addition. I don't care about Morbius, but whatever. Maybe he'll play really cool. Moon Knight's awesome. So,
and the base roster has 40 characters. The base roster apparently has 40 characters in it.
Yeah, I agree, Mr. Zanzibar. I'm pretty sure Gino's a lock for Ultimate Alliance.
It's my favorite hero. One the other earlier, but should have add as a free update Waluigi and Gino as a Rosalina and Luma Echo.
Oh my god!
In Smash, yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Because he is a puppet, Gino. So, and then you get Waluigi because he's magical.
He is. They're a puppet fighter, so it makes sense. Okay, guys. I think I'm ready to go eat breakfast, guys. I don't know about you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Sure.
ready to cut this one off a little bit early because we've already gone through all of our topics and stuff.
Yeah, we've gone through a lot.
Yeah.
We laughed,
So-
we cried, we screamed, we
Drifted.
passionately embraced.
Our all digital future.
Oh God. Oh.
So
It's gonna be that's gonna be the new that's gonna be the twist in the new Terminator movie.
It was all a
Terminator-
streaming video game.
Yeah, Skynet
Sarah
is
Connor
Stadia.
just had a PSVR headset on the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for coming on and listening.
Yep. Thanks,
Episode
guys.
of Good Morning Source Gaming next week, but I won't say any more than that. I'll hopefully
We should
announce
always
that
have a good
soon.
episode of Source Game. Good morning.
Go,
Source
like
Game.
we got a special episode, I should say. I suppose it's
We have a
better way
very
to-
special episode. We're gonna have 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, on.
Yes.
Yeah, all
The
he
big
does.
one.
It wasn't actually hard to get him. All he does nowadays are podcasts. So
You'll be surprised. I was in a Starbucks. I saw him. I was like, hey, we got the same ringtone. You know, it was like we quickly hit it off. You know, it's
Now he's going to join us. It's all good. It's all going well.
He's our new super patron. So shout out to the Duke of the U.S.
Barack Obama,
Yeah,
thank
Barack
you.
Obama.
I believe the president of Dorks. All right, bye guys.
Have a good one, everybody.
Guys.
See ya.